Might have noticed was from some time ago things have dramatically changed as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, including the fact that several of those people who were expected to win from the Aam Aadmi Party have in fact won. Ironically, from that soundbite, Shazia Ilmi lost by a very narrow margin to the incumbent BJP MLA who she had challenged from the RK Puram constituency in New Delhi. I want to go across live now to headlines today's Ankit Tyagi, who's outside the Aam Aadmi Party office. Maha Siddiqui, my correspondent, is outside Sheila Dikshit's residence, which I dare say is probably the most forlorn place right now. Maha, I bet you haven't been seeing very much action, perhaps a few people who've come there to, just to show a bit of support for, a woman who's ruled Delhi for 15 long years. No mean feat, but just give us a sense of the mood there, Maha.
To show that to you, how deserted a look Sheila Dikshit's residence bears. And this has been the case since morning. Not many people have come in. In fact, one of the first few people to walk in, and that was when we heard that Sheila Dikshit had started trailing in her own constituency of New Delhi, was her daughter-in-law who had come in. Apart from that, we've hardly seen anybody come in this afternoon to meet Sheila Dikshit. Sheila Dikshit herself, after sending in her resignation to the LG, spoke with the media, but her statement was very terse, where she just accepted her defeat and said that we'll look into the reasons as to why we've lost. And also, Shiv, when she was asked whether she failed to gauge the mood of the people, she sounded a little, dejected. And she just got up and said, yes, maybe we have been very foolish.
It was a very terse statement that she actually made. I want to bring in Shiv Vishwanathan for a quick sort of overall comment on what he thought happened in Delhi. Shiv, expectations completely belied as far as the Aam Aadmi Party are concerned. Your big takeaways. I already asked Nalini and Sadanand about that. You've joined the show now. What for you were the big takeaways as far as Delhi is concerned?
I think one realized that to a certain extent the impossible happens, and happens frequently. And I think it can be done with tremendous grace. At the same time, one has to realize that Arvind Kejriwal is the second phase of an Andolan. To a certain extent, when one saw Anna Hazare, one felt like he was looking at an Old Testament prophet talking to a New Testament politician. And to a certain extent, there was a sadness in it, because to a certain extent, Anna Hazare belongs to history, and Arvind Kejriwal belongs to the future. Is
Anna Hazare in a difficult position right now? Because, he's been saying some pretty strong things as far as Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, but Arvind has been very dignified about it.
Arvind has played the role of the disciple. He has been absolutely gracious.
Unwavering.
But Anna Hazare is quite cantankerous. And there's a kind of Ayurvedic bitterness to his talk.
There's a very deep sense of irritation, which he's not...
More than irritation, a sense of history having conned him. And to a certain extent, one has to realize that Arvind's politics was different from Anna Hazare. And it is that transition that made this victory possible.
Sadanand, what do you make of this relationship between Anna Hazare and Arvind Kejriwal right now? Because so far, Arvind has stopped short of saying anything, and at this point of time, it's probably just good for him to sit back and say, look, I proved it to you, I'm part of the system now.
I think Arvind Kejriwal is an incredibly canny political player. And I've always sort of thought, even in the early stages, that the brains behind this, it was always Arvind Kejriwal.
That's right.
He was the brains behind the movement. He knew that at that moment, India or Delhi was not ready to accept him. He was too away from the mainstream as a politician. He piggybacked on Anna, who was a more acceptable figure, built a profile for himself, and then when Anna left, he pivoted and rose on his own. So it's been a very incredible and very shrewd political career so far, a very short political career, but already extremely shrewd. And hats off to Arvind Kejriwal for this.
Nalini, we in the media have been, talking so much, and you've been on some of our shows where we've talked about this split between Arvind Kejriwal and Anna Hazare. Does Arvind need Anna Hazare anymore?
No, I don't think so. I think Anna Hazare actually provided the, shall I say, the perfect landing, the perfect platform, literally and metaphorically, those days in 2011 in Delhi was so heady. And actually, they at that time provided you the milieu that is going to vote for the Aam Aadmi Party. You could see people, you could see landless laborers, you could see people from resettlement colonies, you could see people from the posh colonies of Delhi. Everybody was there throughout the day, or especially in the evening. So it was a kind of melting pot, and that seems to have something, what is harvested. So I would say, but what's interesting is, I didn't realize that bureaucrats are so shrewd. Here is Arvind Kejriwal, who gave up an Indian Revenue Service job, but he has been voted in by bureaucrats. As I said earlier, that the New Delhi constituency where he is preponderantly people from the bureaucracy. So are they as shrewd in these political terms, and do they hide it? But the third thing I want to say is something much more gentle, which is, it's the first time this morning that I have heard anybody use the word seva. Harshvardhan did. And he said, I'm very grateful to the people of my constituency who have given me an opportunity for seva. Of course, it is 43,000 lead, which is really spectacular, but for seva. Therefore, and he was gracious, I think, in thanking, congratulating Aam Aadmi Party, thanking Sheila Dikshit, etc. Can we hope that there is going to be this shift also in the mainstream parties, that they start talking about politics as seva?
Not as rule.
I know this sounds completely outlandish just now, but why not be audacious and say this? That maybe politics, it's returning to seva, and not just seva in filling in your own pockets, filling your own pockets, and then having that beacon, beacon in the car, and so then you become so exclusive that you never see them again. Seva is about something else.
Shiv, did too few people take Arvind Kejriwal, like Sadanand was saying, as a canny politician until these numbers started flowing in today?
No, I think there were two things. He was a canny politician, but he was also an idealist. And to a certain extent, the fact he could combine the ethical and the political is what made him have such a tremendous impact. I've seen canniness in a lot of people, including conmen. But for an ethical man to also build a political base shows a different kind of shrewdness. What I call also a shrewdness that can build upon democratic trust. And I think in that sense he's very